So
There we
best friend.
go. And we're live.
Hey,
I know that
live.
because that's Vinnie. Look how alive he is. I mean, that's a lot. That's being alive.
Yes, and that's Michael Knight, and he's live too. Are you live?
Portions of our broadcast day are live.
Yeah, I wouldn't count on it. Anyway, good morning, Michael Knight. How are you?
Well, it's a wacky Wednesday. Donald Trump is now deciding that the Kennedy Center is going to be called the Trump Center. He's going to hold the shows, host the shows, choose who gets the awards, or make the awards, and then at the end of the night, they take the awards back, melt them down, and for the next award show.
Turn them into coins for get your Trump award coin.
It's the only way Kiss and Stallone are ever going to get an award.
Yeah, Kiss, Gloria Gaynor, Sylvester Stallone. Wait, don't tell me. There's somebody else interesting in it. George Strait.
Yeah.
Well, hey, he's the president. He got elected by the people, and the people elected him to do that.
I wonder if they did.
It's part of what he gets.
He was elected president because we were sick of the way that the museums in Washington D.C. portrayed American history. We're going to get that right.
You see, that's it. Now you're catching on. So you weren't catching on before, but now you're catching on. You see, there were many people in this country who just said that those intelligent people who write books,
get them out of there,
had no business being there because they didn't know what was going on. Just the same people, Michael, and I've thought about this many times, the same people who used to call our show and say that we didn't know what we were talking about, or the same people that would say that the manager of a team or the head coach of a team didn't know what they were talking about.
They didn't understand the game.
Those are the people that are running America now.
The people that believe that they haven't really got the details down, but they have a pretty good idea how they're going to fix it.
The people that say, why don't you trade, 3 bench, your 23rd, 24th, and 25th player on your team for Willie Mays?
3 for 1, anyone would do that. It's so simple.
Yeah. Why don't you do that? And, and if you don't agree to that, you don't know what you're talking about. But, well, those people are now doing things like running America, running the FBI, placing
the CDC
in places, the CDC. So I don't know why this should surprise you. I mean, this is as I told you years ago when this guy first got elected, that Donnie from Queens is running the show, and as much as we, and by saying we, I mean people like the people that are opposed to Donnie from Queens aren't going to say anything about it. From the Republicans certainly aren't going to say anything about it because
they got nothing to say
with power that they haven't had in years, and the Democrats aren't going to say anything about it. But that same guy who gets behind you when you're doing, 5 miles under the speed limit and honking his horn, and then blows past you through a school zone, and the same.
Tesla.
Yeah, no, well, here's I'll tell you a Tesla story a little bit later. But yeah, the person who you consider who used to be boring and an idiot and doesn't know what he's talking about, but make sure that he lets you know, even though you may know something about
it's of no consequence
or a lot about a subject, still they know because they have an uncle or a cousin or an aunt or a this or a that knows a guy that knows a guy that knows a guy. That's who's running the country now.
People
the guy
with,
that knows a guy that knows a guy that knows a guy that knows a guy.
people with a poisonous level of common sense. Oh, it's common.
So once you accept that fact, once you look at that, you say, well, that's where our country is at today.
And getting worse.
And it probably isn't going to get much better because these people are vicious. They're the people who got, who were in school, and when they would get control of the GO, would bring in, some horrible movie to watch and do it 5 years in a row, 3 years in a row, 4 years in a row. They were that's who's running the country. So
the people who brought you Saw as a series, Saw 5, Saw 6.
The people who brought you every bad movie that you ever paid, $5.50 to go watch from your hard-earned after-school money, and sat there halfway through the movie and wondered who put this crap up on the screen.
What was that idiot show, the Blair Witch Project?
Every bad director, every bad movie star who had no talent but yet got there because he blew the director.
Somebody had to do it.
All of those people, they now run the country. They now run America. Now, it's possible that the people that have common sense and may know stuff about things, really know stuff about things and smart things, will again get the country back again.
You can't trust people who know the truth.
But I don't know, because those people are comfortable. Nobody's jumping up. Who's standing up? I mean, Bernie Sanders and Gavin Newsom. That's who's standing up against this guy. And the system, not just the guy. It's not just the guy.
His whole machine.
If you watch that press conference on Monday and listened to Das President's speech, and I really hate to call it a speech.
Mutterings.
If you hear that, if you listen to that, if you love that, and you can't sit there and say to yourself, "This is America."
That's the guy we wanted all along.
That's him. But if you're in that class of people who used to call the show and write back to the opinion pieces on the newspaper, and the people that are in the comments who can't write a comment without spelling at least 1 to 3 keywords wrong, you got no chance. You got no shot. You got to realize that those people are running the country right now, and in some small part running the world. And everybody's too fat and lazy to get off their ass and do much about it, to be honest with you.
You know who's the least lazy man in the world? Is Vladimir Putin. He's willing to go anywhere. He can conduct a war while he talks peace. He can go to Alaska by the way, the reason they're having it in Alaska is he's been saying for a long time that it's time for Russia to take Alaska back. So Trump's just buttering him up by saying, take a look around, kick the tires. Let's put a hotel over here. We'll do it a joint venture, and then you just claim it, and we'll go down to 49 states. And then in the middle of the night, we'll take Canada, and we'll be 50 again. And you get Alaska.
And then
by the way, it's just a frozen waste anyway. Canada borders on Alaska, and they don't even use that part of Canada. Nobody uses it.
It is a new world order. As President Bush, boy, do we miss both. I mean, you ever think you'd say that you missed both President Bushes?
I miss the younger one more.
Yeah. Well, the older one, God rest his soul.
It was a bit
But the
dangerous.
older one was boring. I mean, really, what did he do? I mean, he did the war thing, the Gulf War, but
He ran the CIA.
he ran to see it. Well, but this was while he was president. I mean, he was kind of I always looked at him as a civil service worker who worked his way up the ladder and just got the top job.
Yeah, but he was born at the top of the ladder.
Well, yeah, true, very true. Maybe actually that's more Jimmy Carter in a lot of ways than it is George Herbert Walker. I mean, but that's how he always struck me. As he did his time. He got in there. He got it placed in the right spot, and he bided his time. And he hooked up with Reagan, and Reagan did his 8 years, and then it was Bush's turn. It wasn't even like like an election. It was just his turn. The only thing different.
You got this George Herbert Walker, except you don't.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, he should have I mean, I would think that some company would have named a Walker for him, the George Herbert Walker.
The George Herbert Walker.
No, it could just be the George Herbert Walker.
I think you better call it the George Herbert Walker, or else you don't know which one you're talking about. You could be talking about the Walker, or you could be talking about his Walker.
Well, either way. And but there's a guy that we ridiculed. We were lucky enough to get to ridicule his son. So it was a family thing.
It gave drugs a bad name.
And yet it gave drugs, gave baseball a bad name, but yet we sit here and we pine for him. We wish we had him back.
The second George Bush did a series of interviews with CNN for their massive production of Live Aid and the reliving of the 4 aid programs that were put in place to help Ethiopia and the terrible famine in Africa. And he sounded like an intelligent person who met with Bob Geldof, who had meetings, who helped in the fostering of aid for Africa, which this president, slapdick as you call him, would never do.
No,
he would never. You're a sucker if you send these people money.
Yeah, you're. I mean, because life. You see, to true Christians, to people who believe in Christianity, life is precious. All life, any life, is precious. Supposed to be. That's the teaching of Jesus. The teaching of Jesus is that you love one another.
What about the teachings of Donnie from Queens?
These people, he has no love in him. There's no love. Well, there is. There's love of money. There's love of the gaudiest crap, the gaudiest shit that you could go out. I don't know what catalog buys from, but boy, it ain't for us.
You have to like white and gold.
But again, these are the people that are in charge. There's no class to it. These are the people that build, the mansions, the huge houses on Staten Island.
With the ugly fronts.
That are ugly. And they don't care if they buy 3 or 4 lots and put 3 or 4 people out of house, because that's not the goal. The goal is it's me. It's all.
We're going to put in a new big house. I want to see the drawings. No, not this. It's got to be ugly. Don't you understand? It's got to be garish. It's got to be unsuited to the area.
Yeah, the dirty liberals build houses like that are sustainable and that are.
If you want to see what I don't want, go over Madison Avenue. Look at the townhouses on Madison Avenue. That's not what I want. I want something big ugly, and a mixture of styles. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. I'll tell you when to stop.
And what's funny is the people that built those houses came out of an age that was very similar to what they're trying to create. They're trying to create a Gilded Age.
And these are the immigrants of Europe who built the cathedrals and major buildings and buildings of state throughout Europe. They were here, and the stone craftsmen built Manhattan.
Yeah. And these people have none of that. They're all, they're wallboard and Home Depot.
No talent. No talent.
Whatever's in Home Depot, that's what their house is going to look like. That's what their building is going to look like. The majority of stuff for that ballroom that he's going to build on the beautiful Rose Garden, where so many presidents and so many historical events took place. And this motherfucker is going to cover it up. This piece history is going to cover it up with a thing that's going to look like a garage, a bus garage. Sorry, I find it offensive and disgusting what this guy is proposing to do. He's doing the same thing to the White House that he's doing to the country.
Can we please get Gloria Gaynor to reconsider? She's not going to sing that song, is she? Oh, that's Gloria.
Yeah, that's her on the phone now. She's asking that we
tone it down,
not use her name. Not use her name in vain.
You can call it the Trump Awards at the Kennedy Center.
God, how...
He warned us today that the Academy Awards became political. That's why no one watches them anymore.
Yeah, nobody watches that show. Nobody watches the Academy Awards. I mean, you don't know anybody that has a party and has people over their house and hands out scorecards and, has a Sunday night in the end of winter, beginning of spring that gets together. That's the bit, it very possibly could be the biggest gathering that people have since a Christmas party at their houses, and people have or other people have just parked themselves. I mean, you couldn't drum up the Uber Eats figures for an Academy Award night. See how many people order a meal while they sit in front of that television set if they're alone and watch that thing. People haven't even seen any of the movies.
And they watch
it.
It's me.
Yeah. Because it's a spectacle. It's a show. It's something that people, it's just a part of our tradition. It's a part of our life. For many people, not everybody watches it, but it's. I would say that the ratings are pretty good for that. The people that run the Academy Awards. Pierre Lacassette, remember him? Pierre Lacassette. He was the guy that produced the Academy Awards and the Grammy Awards, and also the Sha Na Na TV show. Pierre Lacassette is not weeping. I don't even know if he's still alive. Probably not.
But he's not weeping. Even if he's not alive, he's probably not weeping.
Yeah, he's not weeping over it. Bruce Valanche.
Oh, God.
Is not weeping over it.
Is he from Earth, by the way? Are we absolutely certain?
Have you ever seen him and Paul Williams in the same place at the same time?
Well, you can't, because they revolve around each other like subatomic particles.
I rest my case. You've never seen Bruce Valanche and Paul Williams in the same room at the same time. And what the hell?
That's a good thing.
Yeah. But, well, maybe you did. Maybe if you were a Hollywood hanger-outer in the Chuck Barris era of Hollywood, you might have seen him. Maybe. I don't know. But, and I'm sorry I just got so angry. I just think I just find it reprehensible. It makes me physically sick that they're going to change the look of the White House.
And don't forget history. We're going to wipe out a lot of things in America that happened that didn't happen. It's going to make history a lot easier in the 6th grade for kids.
Yeah, it's going to take them about, yeah, they'll get to go to those Donald Trump fitness classes.
Everybody get their Diet Coke, unwrap your straw, and begin.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Pete Alonso has now hit more home runs than anybody else as a Met. Took Strawberry's record.
What did I tell you? I don't know how many years ago. Watch this guy.
Giants lost again last night, 5-1.
Yeah, the Mets actually won a game or two over the weekend, I believe. I didn't watch any of the Mets this weekend or any baseball this weekend. I don't know why.
There's a lot of Little League on.
Yeah, I have to say that I'm disappointed in myself today. I know I think the Mariners beat the Orioles yesterday, which was good. I have to look at the scoreboard here a second. Brewers beat the Pirates. It's easy to beat the Pirates, though. Yeah, Mariners beat the Orioles 1-0. Again, our good friend. Oh yeah, George Kirby with a 5-hitter against the mighty Baltimore Orioles.
The Baltimore Orioles were on the phone to Bob Melvin over the weekend saying, "Tell me more about this business of playing games where you don't score runs. What happens?" And Bob says, "It's a great goal to have. You don't score any runs for 9 innings, and then if the other guys do score runs, you lose. That's the downside."
Yeah, but you leave. You get to leave.
But you're there.
The paychecks don't bounce.
And you're controlling your own outcome. You're saying, we're not going to score runs. We're going to see what happens.
Meanwhile,
we're not even going to score forget about runs.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I've completely lost any kind of understanding of who is pitching for the Mets.
Are you just not familiar with
13-5?
You're no longer familiar with the names.
A guy named Soto won the game yesterday against the Braves. 13-5 was the final. And Soto is not the Soto that they paid the two. Well, I was kind of hoping when I first saw it that it was the that they took Juan Soto, the guy that they paid $728 million to, or whatever it was, and said to him, "Listen, you're not hitting, so see if you can pitch."
What do you think? Can you pitch? Yeah, I got it.
Let's go out there and see if you can get it down the
pike. Right down the pike.
Just get it in. Anywhere between the knees and the shoulders.
It's the 7th inning. Keep the lights on for 9 outs.
We're gonna get somebody. We don't know who.
It could be you.
Somebody's gonna pitch. But right now we need you. You're not doing that great. Every time you track down a fly ball in the outfield, it looks like Dave Kingman's tracking it down.
There's nothing more dangerous than Dave looking through the web of his mitt, blocking out the sun, and saying, "What am I doing here? Oh, the ball. Well, where is the ball?" Blunk.
I mean, I remember so vividly the days at Shea Stadium when nobody would sit behind Kingman when he was playing first. He didn't want to get hit with the ball.
He wasn't going to catch it. That much you knew. So that just left where is it going to be decided.
Yeah. Is it going to hit in row 2, row 3, row 5, row 8? Matter of fact, after a while, they used to have I always remember this, when they first put the first, well, it wasn't the first electronic board, but it was that first computer controlled board. It didn't have it had there was the regular scoreboard, which was supposed to be the scoreboard in the future, but was still light bulbs, that whole deal. And then they put up this other scoreboard that was a small scoreboard, and they used to have this little baseball race on the scoreboard. It was the precursor to what you see now with the hydros and the this and the that and the races that they do. And I remember I so enjoyed it because when we went to games, we would bet on it. They actually gave us a game of chance and I remember one season, it must have been 80, 79, 80, something like that, where I actually went upstairs and tried to find the guy who runs the scoreboard to see if I could influence him
in any way
to give me the poop on who was going to win. But I could never get to him.
He would have told you, "Oh, we don't determine it; it's a random deduction by the machine."
But that's how I thought. That's how I thought. I said that this is something that can be
rigged.
Well, I hate that word so much.
It's never used enough, I don't think.
Yeah,
like Donald Trump won't say it.
Well, but he said it so much that's why I hate it so much. I didn't mind it before he became president or started to run for president. Now I abhor the word. But I just realized that there were things in life that were rigged, and if everybody was going to rig stuff against you, you either get involved in the rigging or you get involved in the losing. So anyway, but they had that machine, and that was a sure bet. That was the first thing we bet on at Shea Stadium, and that was the beginning of sports gambling. And look at it now. You have pitchers on one team that are sitting down because they're suspected of possibly rigging games, like live games.
Games being played in the Major League Baseball venues.
And nobody's talking about this. Now, I don't listen to much sports radio anymore. I think it's boring. And it misses the one thing that used to make it fun, I thought, was
entertainment.
The fans. I also thought that the callers were an important part of it, and the interviews. But the fans are lacking from it these days, and anyway.
Number one, entertain the audience. I was reading a comment today, the criticism of the jocks at KHJ by Bill Drake, and all his direction was talking about communication, liveliness, talking to one person, sounding hip, sounding in control, sounding like you're the most important place to be that afternoon on a radio station in Los Angeles, knowing everything that was going on. That control and that hipness and the freshness was something that is so hard, but that's what you're trying to create every day. Don't make it phony. Don't make it compartmentalized. Don't make it something that can be created in a AI studio. Make it unique to yourself, to your personality, to the events that are going on, to the record you just played, to the weather you're going to do, to what's coming up, to all the things that you string along and do it effortlessly. But to be an entertainer and a facilitator. And if your job is just to say, Bob Melvin's got to be fired. I've been saying this for 2 weeks. How many weeks do I have to say before they pull the plug? Without ever even making a top 5 list of who's going to replace him. which is always my comment for anyone who wanted to fire George Karl. I said, okay, I'm making you general manager. You can fire him today. Who are you going to hire? Well, I don't know. I'm not an authority on the. Yeah, you're not. That's why
Yeah,
you're not involved in this decision. That's why we're not
and
going to fire George Karl.
that's who's running the country these days.
That's right.
That's exactly the person.
If there was those people running the country for Pizza Town, it would say 1958, and there would be no place to go to get pizza. There'd just be a sign on the side of the road. That's as far as they got.
Or pizza
1958,
made.
what do you mean? Well, we don't have pizza, but we have a sign that says 1958. What do you have?
Yeah, and the people that are running it probably long ago said, I can make more money doing something else. I don't know. I don't know. I think it actually is still the same family that owns it, or maybe a guy that worked there a long time took it over. I forget. I forget, but there was some kind of. But yeah, it's been there since 1958.
When the Everly Brothers were on the charts.
Yeah, I was just. I took a magical trip through 1965 last night.
How far did you get?
To the WABC top survey of August 31st, 1965.
Who was number one? Sergeant Barry Sadler.
No, 65. Barry Sadler was 68. Matter of fact, that or 67. 67, I think. That song was the number one song on WABC in 1968. And I remember Cousin Bruce Morrow going on the radio on New Year's Eve is when they played the top 100 songs of the year. That's when they had 100 songs to play in a year. And apologizing to people because they got so many calls that song was number one.
I'd say Lee Sklar.
I think I think 68 was MacArthur Park was the number one song.
Really?
Richard
Harris?
Yeah. I believe that the number one song on WABC for 1968 was MacArthur Park. I'd have to look at their at the top 100. I don't even know if they have them. I mean, they have the weekly surveys. But that was a great time, man. That was we always listened. New Year's Eve, man. New Year's Day. That's what you listen for. You listen for the top 100 songs of the year before. Which one was number one? And it was a close guarded secret. Nobody knew. The interns or the young ladies or the people who used to call out to the record stores for WABC were sworn to secrecy. And people could keep a secret in those days.
Number one for 1965 for KFRC, Willie Bully, Sam the Sham.
Yeah, I would believe that. I think Hang On Sloopy was number one for WABC in 65.
Satisfaction, number 3. Can't Help Myself, Sugar Pie Honey Bunch, the Four Tops, number 2. You Were on My Mind, the We 5, number 4. And the Righteous Brothers, You've Lost That Love and Feeling, number 5 for 1965.
People forget how huge a record, and they were out of San Francisco, if I'm not mistaken, the We 5.
San Diego.
I always thought they were out of San Francisco. But the We 5, that was a huge record in 1965.
Huge.
That Keep On Dancing.
Keep on dancing.
Yep, the Gentrys. Keep On Dancing was gee, I mean, just you heard it everywhere. The We 5 was, they kind of had that Seekers sound.
Yep.
That she sounded at first, when I first heard that song, I thought it was the Seekers.
Well, she had that LA sound, and she was on A&M Records, a Herb Alpert production.
Herb Alpert and who was the other guy? Jerry Moss?
Jerry Moss, exactly.
Jerry Moss, yes. That's a great trivia question. Who was the M in A&M Records?
Yeah.
But yeah, she sounded a lot like, or I thought she sounded a lot like Judith Dunham of the Seekers.
She had a great voice, that Seekers gal.
Yeah, boy.
What was her name? Gina Thumb?
Judith Dunham.
Judith Dunham. And she was Australian, right?
She just passed away like 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
I think she was Australian.
Yes, they all were Australian. They were a band that was on a cruise ship.
Couldn't get off.
They were performing on a cruise ship, and somebody from a record company saw them on the cruise ship.
You guys have got it. You kids have got something special.
You guys got it. And took them into the studio, into Abbey Road Studios in England. No, I don't know. Maybe that was later. Maybe that was a little bit later. But took them into a studio in Australia, recorded them, and they had hits, big hits.
Yeah.
I mean, and then they went quiet for a little while and came back as the New Seekers.
Georgia Girl.
Well, no, Georgia Girl was still the old Seekers. I'd like to teach the world to sing, which everybody now associates with the Coke song, but actually was a hit for the New Seekers back in like 1970.
And it was a hit for the not Searchers, the English band that sang all those Coke commercials. They did such a great job. In the back of your mind, what you're hoping to find is the real thing. Who were those guys?
As I drink a Pepsi. I can't. I don't know. I know that I never knew that it wasn't the new. I always thought it was the New Seekers that was singing the Coke jingle.
They probably sang one too. He spent a fortune on those Coke jingles.
Yeah, but I think they worked. Oh, I don't know. There's too many beverages today.
The four. Damn.
I was thinking something, and that's couldn't be.
Nah.
Couldn't be.
You got your troubles, I got mine. The four what?
Oh, the Fortunes.
The Fortunes, thank you.
They sang that? No.
They sang a ton of Coke commercials, a ton of them. Beautifully done. Big productions.
They were a wonderful melodic group.
Oh, yeah.
My favorite song of theirs was, they had the hit. I think their last hit was Here Comes That Rainy Day Feeling Again.
Good song.
But I always liked their You've Got Your Troubles, I've Got Mine.
Oh, yeah.
Which was in that 1965 with the double harmony.
Yeah, one guy singing one part and the other guy singing counterpoint to it.
Right. And I ain't got no feelings for you, and I'm upset because I've lost my baby today. Great song about somebody who doesn't care about the other guy's troubles.
Maybe later. Right now, I got my own.
I got stuff going on in my life. Leave me alone.
Go ahead.
Because I have lost my baby love. Yeah, that was those were good days. But yeah, the Fortunes. Yes, that was another group that people today have no idea. But that's I've come to really dislike YouTube in many ways because
everything's equal.
Just some of the stuff on there is just despicable. And over the last year or two, AI has taken it over. I mean, you can't click on a row of suggestions without getting 2 or 3 or 4 AI things. It's horrible.
I don't know why they're always saying that somebody died. always.
Yeah,
A picture of somebody.
and YouTube lets it go on. I mean, that's the kind of thing is that the algorithm for YouTube or whatever it is doesn't pick it up,
It's set for
or
let it
maybe
go.
they do pick it up and they just don't want to do anything about it.
Both.
But that's what happens when you have a broadcaster who has no regulation. You see, if it was the 60s and somebody did that, the Federal Communications Commission
Would say, is that in the public's interest to be doing that?
would say the internet is a part of the airwaves,
A pool of cess.
and they would clean it up. They would say that there's certain words you can't say on this thing, and you can't curse on this thing, and you can't lie.
You can't yell fire.
You can't yell fire. If there is no fire, you must create a fire before you yell fire.
And it better be a good one.
And it better be something worth the fire department coming down the block on, because we're spending money on this.
Because the fire department's all over at the Trump Awards at the Trump Center. And they can't be bothered. They're putting out Gloria Gaynor's dress.
I wonder if she will sing "I Will Survive" in Spanish.
No, she will not.
I always thought that was the better song out of the English version and the Spanish version.
But if she has a song about happy, safe slaves, that would be a good song to work into their routine. Oh, we're happy and we're safe and we're slaves. We're happy and we're safe and we're slaves. Everybody come around the cornbread truck. We're happy and we're safe and we're slaves. That was a big hit for Gloria. It was a B-side, but it got played in a lot of markets. Cincinnati was big.
You know, you could be politically incorrect there. I'm telling you, you better be careful now. Although actually in Donald Trump's world, you could go ahead and say that, sing that. Matter of fact, I'm sure there's 3 or 4 people that run around the White House every day singing that.
I'm joking and I'm doubling down.
Listen while we work, whistle while we work. You can't even call them the 7 dwarfs anymore, right? You see, Michael, where's the middle ground? Where's the ground that says, well, it's okay to call them dwarfs as long as, you just respect them. Don't call it to them don't call them dwarfs in a malicious way. I don't know.
And the 7 little people.
I don't even, now it's got to be, yes, Princess and the 7 little people. Can you even say Lilliputians anymore?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah. You see, Michael, the world confuses me. It's Wednesday, and I'm confused.
Is it a day to be optimistic about the meeting coming up in Alaska with Putin and Trump, or is it going to be a shit show?
I'm not optimistic about anything. I'm really. I just think that. I just think it's. I don't know. Maybe he's going to pull something off, but if you don't have Zelensky sitting at the table,
it's jive.
If he's not there to negotiate, if he's not there,
Trump said today that he may be the first person that he calls when it's over.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for today. We're not doing any more meetings. I'm going to call Zelensky and tell him what I think. Yeah.
If he's not part of it, how could you have any optimism? Because I don't think he's going to, why would he give back land? Why would he give land to?
Why would he do anything that the people at the table want him to do?
Yeah. Now, I don't know if he senses that his country just doesn't have it to fight in them anymore. he knows his country better than anybody else, right?
Not that he cares what they think or what they need or how they feel.
I'm not talking about Putin. I'm talking about Zelensky.
I think that the Ukrainians are tougher than we know.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. They're certainly tougher than we are. If that happened to us, we'd be speaking Russian. I don't think that this country could survive something like that.
What if the Russians just take Alaska? They just move in like they did in Ukraine? Would we understand then? Would NATO help us?
I don't see anybody coming across the border to help us right now.
You can't do that.
I don't. I just don't. I think we've burned so many bridges in this world.
Bridges, once they get burning, that's really a mess.
Yeah, I think I think we've burned so many bridges in this world right now. I think they can be repaired. I think in 3 years and however many months, hopefully we'll start to repair those bridges if
Go ahead.
If it can be if it can even be repaired at that point.
There's never a what's the word I'm looking for? There's never an evil spirit living under the bridge that puts it back together. It's always a Billy Goat's Gruff or some form of a goblin that lives under the bridge that makes you stop, pay the toll, cheats you out of your lunch money, has nasty things to say about the Mets when they lose just to hurt your feelings. There's never a troll that lives under the bridge that says, well, hold it, this bridge is coming down a little bit. It's in need of repair. I'm the troll of the bridge. I got it. I'll get my crew up there. We're top of the line guys. Have this thing fixed by Wednesday.
Yeah.
None of that.
None of that. No, we're I mean, unfortunately, and I know that people want to be optimistic. Listen, I want to be optimistic. I mean, I still believe in this country, even though it's in a tough place right now.
Well, that's because of you. How many ICE officers do you know have resigned because they don't like their job? There's people putting on masks and saying, I'll be part of the secret police. Where are we going? Who are we rounding up? Give me a truck. I can fill it with people who are innocent. Give me an address. I'll go to the Home Depot and arrest people coming out with their potted plants. What are they going to do about it? I'm secret police.
Yeah, well, how do you have National Guard people on the streets of Washington? I know I saw that they made like 39 arrests last night. I only wonder what they arrested people for. And did they arrest anybody that the police wouldn't have arrested? That the regular DC police wouldn't have.
We have to ask the Metro Police in Washington, is it against the law to sing in harmony under a streetlight after 10 o'clock?
I'm sure it is now. I'm sure it is today. I'm sure you don't want to be doing it. I don't know. Did they impose a curfew yet? He said he was. You know what it reminded me of? Strangely, I thought yesterday of
George Orwell.
No, what was the movie with Michael Rennie and Klaatu? The Day the Earth Stood Still. Yeah, it reminded me. Remember they have all those scenes of the National Guard in Washington as what's his name as Gork. No, Klaatu. What's his name?
Michael Rennie.
Michael Rennie. I was trying to think of his character's name. Is driving through the streets of Washington to get to the spaceship.
Giving instructions to Gork.
Yeah, to give instructions to Gork, and Gork, and the National Guard is with the jeeps with the guns on them and everything.
Gork says, "I got this."
Yeah, that's what I thought of last. I thought that's what it must look like in Washington today.
Remember, there was the Canadian space psychedelic group called Klaatu. They had 2 or 3 albums on Capitol. Klaatu
No, I
Barado
don't think I ever
Mixto.
heard of that.
Oh yeah, you should listen to their first album and a song called "Internet," calling occupants of interstellar something craft. The band, formed in 1973 by the duo of John Wolaschuk and Dee Long. Yeah, calling occupants of interplanetary craft. That's the one I recommend.
Maybe I have heard them actually. Now I'm thinking about it. Again, every time we talk about the middle 70s,
There are things that may or may not be true that we say.
yeah. Matter of fact, the 80s are much the same way. Although I was fortunate enough to go through a period in the 80s where I just said I'm going to stop all of this, and
All I can hear is Gloria Gaynor. Stop it. Stop it.
go on now, go out that door. Don't hang around now. Well, you know what I always say. Love makes the world go round, Michael.
I agree.
You got Deion Jackson, baby. The other Deion. People forget about. I mean, there's 3 Deions. Well, 4 really.
There's Dion and the Belmonts.
Deion and the Belmonts. Deion Jackson. Dionne Warwick. And the 4th is
Deion Sanders.
Celine Dion.
Well, then there's 5. You got to have.
Well, but Deion Sanders sang on 1 song, 2 songs.
But he did it while playing both professional baseball and professional football.
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard the song a couple of times. Not so good.
It needs work.
It needed work. I mean, I'm talking about, 4 legitimate Deions. 4 legitimate Deions. Even Deion Jackson, although his song, he still got it into the top 10. It was a huge hit in 1967, 66.
According to the guy who made Sergeant Barry's Island #1, the same programmer made Deion Jackson #2, number
And
5.
his name was Rick Sklar, wasn't it?
It was. Still is.
Yes, those were the days, Michael. I would have loved. My only regret is that I never just wandered up to 1600. I think it was 1600 Avenue of the Americas, and just went up to the studio and knocked on the door and said, "Let me in."
Hello there. Hello there.
I mean, I did that in so many different places, and got into so many places, and got to see so many people. Got to see so many things. I mean, I still remember Bill Graham, saying to me at the Fillmore East, because I'd snuck in so many times that he'd just say, "Come around to the back entrance and we'll just let you in."
But stop showing everybody else how to sneak in the front.
Exactly. Stop walking past the security guards.
Backwards.
Of which there were 2, or 3. And they weren't even really security guards. They were just hippies that he was paying $10 a day to stand there and
Guard control.
Not let anybody in that didn't have a ticket. But But I knew Louis Abalafia, so you got into a few places.
It's
If
a
you
good
knew
name.
Louis,
It was a good name to know.
that was a good name to know back in 1968, 67. You got to see people. You got to people, especially in the village. People knew who Louis was.
And you were his aide de camp and assistant for a while.
I was his his aide de camp. You know that. Legitimately, I could probably put down that I served as a. I think I was his campaign manager
Now that's
for a year or
interesting.
so. Until my father said, "If you go down there, I'll kick your ass," and then I won anyway. I got my ass kicked a few times, but I was hanging out with Louis Abalafia.
How old were you?
12.
Wow.
67, I was 12 years old.
12 and running the village like it was your fiefdom.
11 and 12, and yeah, running around Greenwich, the West and the East Village, really much more the East Village, because it really wasn't the East Village yet. Well, yeah, it was, but it wasn't what it is now. It was a rough neighborhood, but if you were 11 and 12 years old, people looked out for you. You walk around the block to the Hells Angels. They say, "Oh yeah, you're the kid that hangs out with Louis. You're all right."
We know you.
And you sat there and you walk by and you talk to them. If you needed to eat, you went to the Hare Krishnas at 7:00. People looked out for kids back then.
What did they feed you at the Hare Krishnas?
What they called
Rice?
kirtan. You had to pray for, I don't know, 15 minutes or a half hour, and then they broke out the rice, Indian food, curry, rice.
Yeah.
Whatever they could steal or whatever they could, whoever was contributing. But they had a meal every night at 7:00, and they didn't ask any questions. You just went there and you sat with them. They were always handing you a book. I don't know how many of those. What was it? The
Gita.
Bhagita as it is, by A.C. Swami Bhaktivedanta, and I think I sold one to everyone I got. I think I sold at the subway station for $1 or $2. You always saw the people from Europe that came over. They were easy. Hey, you want to buy a book about the village? Yeah, here you go.
Sure I would. What village is that? That's the village near your place where you grew up.
I might have been the leading distributor of that book for a while, as I was the aide de camp to Louis Abalafia. Aide de camp. That's great. I never thought of that.
Seems strange.
Well, I'll tell you what, Louis would have done a damn better job of running the country than who we have now.
Oh yes, he'd be a visionary.
And I don't think he would have run a great job because, much as many people in those days, I think the only reason Louis Abalafia wanted to be president is for the girls.
That's just what I was going to say. That's the best reason there is.
Just like I wanted to be his aide de camp. Why? Because of the girls. It's amazing what an overcharged sex drive will do to you.
Since 1958.
Since 1958.
Yeah.
All right, listen, I will.
Join me for a Freaky Fractious Friday?
Yes. Join you for a Freaky Fractious Friday. I hope I'm in good shape.
And the summit will be in effect in Alaska when we are on the air.
Will it be?
It'll be that day, yes.
We'll have to keep an eye on that.
I imagine Fairbanks is going to be quite the hot town, and I can't imagine what they're going to do for hotels and security, but that's their problem.
Yeah, yeah. I hear the Russians don't like to pay for their
Darling
hotel
with
room.
the Washington State swap meet. So I wanted to give.
Huh?
My phone started talking.
Yeah, mine does that every once in a while. Actually, my computer starts talking. My not Alexis, but the Apple version of Alexis seems to go on and off at will.
Has things to say, comments to make.
You have to be on your. You can't say anything in front of this computer. You don't want somebody to know. Alaska.
Then you have a great day.
Mikey, have a great day too. Enjoy yourself the rest of your day, and I will see you on Friday next. If
The most important thing is I got to get cat food.
Get cat food. Don't let the cat starve because you may find yourself being eaten in the middle of the night.
These cats would turn us in for the deposit.
Yes. There was a time in America. No.
Yeah.
All right. I'll see you on Friday if the Lord's will and the creek don't rise.
Friday it is, man.
Yeah. Peace, love, and Manischewitz, baby. Thank you all for listening too. As we, I'm going to go into Pizza Town and get me a bag of Zippola and head home. See you later. Bye.